right, welcome everybody. We are Hold the Mayo, and we are back for another episode of whatever. Sammy, how you doing, man?
Up, dude? I'm good. Late day work, and I'm not in the man cave this time.
Not in the man cave. I actually noticed it. It looks like you are in a stall, but it's pretty cool that you have a Star Wars poster in there. I wish I had some of those.
Oh, here. I showed y'all the man cave, so here's my stuff. But I do have Star Wars stuff all over the place.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you're making me jealous, Sammy, big time.
But it's how I roll. It's a high roller life for me.
You see my background. This is all I can afford. The little plastic figurines on a wooden apple box.
Is that a poop emoji or something?
That is a poop emoji, yes. It is a poop emoji. Sometimes that's how I feel. So before I go into our agenda for today, I just want to say thank you again to Jordan for to being with us last week. She was definitely a key cog in the conversation because we were talking about stuff that I am super uneducated in. So
Dude,
Jordan, thank you again.
She absolutely loves. She wants to be back. She had a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it worked pretty good. So as soon as we get another topic that she'll be inclusive, it'll be inclusive of, I guess, what she kind of is going through in life. Definitely, we can bring her in as long as the schedule works.
So I know there's a topic you want to get to, so let's just get to it.
So today we're going to talk about ReFace, the ReFace app. It's amazing. A lot of people are using it. I know somebody close to me that uses it way too much. We'll talk about the worker strike, the writer strike, I should say. They're not working, they're just striking. So that's going on in Hollywood. And then we want to talk a little bit about favorite
things. Let's talk about some favorite things.
Favorite things, man. Favorite things. And then we'll shoot off into a little rapid fire because this will be our last episode for a couple of weeks because I'm going on vacation with the family and celebrating my daughter's quinceanera in Colombia.
Dude, that's pretty cool. We'll talk about that later, but I didn't know that's what you were going for. That's
cool.
Yeah,
we'll wrap it up with that. And just so everybody knows ahead of time, Colombia is spelled with 2 O's. There's no U's in Colombia, the country. It's Colombia.
Colombia.
Or with 2 O's, or Colombia, the movie and television studio.
Is it racist if I try to say it? Colombia.
Colombia.
It's okay. It's okay if you do it, but it's racist if I do it, right?
No, absolutely not. It's
good.
Racist if you insist on pronouncing it and spelling it for you. Actually, probably not racist. That might be a little bit strong.
All right. Well, let's get to the ReFace.
All right. So ReFace. ReFace is an app that became available a couple years ago. There's been approximately 70 million downloads of this app since it came out in about 2020. Basically what it is, ReFace is an app that allows the user to put their face on a video or certain videos that they have available, videos, GIFs, pictures, whatever it may be that's in the app. And it looks pretty realistic, to be honest, to the point where it's almost scary.
Scary is a word I hear a lot.
Scary?
Scary, yeah.
Yes, definitely is scary for a couple of reasons. So I'm going to play the video here, the most recent one that I've seen. It's a diabolical creation that Sammy McMahon made himself. So we'll play this here, and then we'll ask for an explanation from Sammy as to why, how, and I guess why his wife still lets him in the house after this one. So here's this video. Check it out, and then we'll talk to Sammy about it. And if that dude back there runs away when Sammy turns around. Go ahead, Sammy. Explain yourself.
So, all right. So the deal with the ReFace. So, yeah, it was around 2020. I want to say even maybe a little bit before, but you got the dates there, so that makes sense. And I certainly abused it during COVID. So I first got out there. I forgot where I heard about the app from first, but you could put your face on a lot of really cool things. And if there's anything a lot of people know about me is I have an unhealthy man crush on The Rock. Which, speaking of, my this is no lie, I'm on my work laptop right now. Whenever I'm not on camera on Zoom, this is my picture.
And you guys look, you guys are separated at birth, man. You guys are like
separated at birth.
twins.
So for another episode, remind me. I'll actually tell you where that came from, because there's actually a picture where I actually do kind of resemble him.
I've seen it.
Long ago. But I found an app that would put my face on him, and I thought this was the coolest thing in the world. And so I just started filtering through some of the different things that you could put your face on, and I turned it from, The Rock to things that I just kind of put out there for shock value, which you can kind of see from that video you just saw.
Have you heard anything from your mom yet?
No, my mom cracks up. Yeah, that's good question. My mom cracks up. My dad hates it with a passion. He's used it, but not for the purposes that I do. Every once in a while, I would post one a day or something just to get up under people's skin, just for fun. And then I laid low. Some people were legitimately getting irritated with me for it. One lady, she won't see this anyway, but I've had feedback that I've been hidden on Facebook because they didn't want to see me dressing like a girl.
Wow, and that's pretty next level.
Strong. Yeah, it's a bit strong, and maybe there was some kind of political environment thing around it. I don't know, but if you know me, I do whatever I can for a laugh. So anyway, every once in a while, I'll eye-bomb people on Facebook with a specific ReFace that I find fun, and we'll just kind of go from there. So it's been great fun. Some people like it, some people don't. If you don't, as they say, you can scroll on by.
Well, like I said a minute ago, 70 million people have downloaded the app.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that's being used, and it is fun. I actually did have it myself for a little bit. I just got bored of it. I'd never had I never had the urge to put my face on a woman's body. So that may be some Freudian thing that's going on inside you, Sammy. We can probably talk about that in another session. Or maybe get you some therapy.
Yeah, I need some therapy. I won't deny that at all. Yeah.
Yeah, therapy for that. And last week you mentioned that you've been to hell and back. So maybe it's two contributing factors that's causing this.
Dude, no doubt. All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna take a quick break here, and then we're gonna move into talking about the writer's strike. Now that a lot of people have put you on strike or on notice, with your ReFace stuff. But right after this, we'll talk about the writer's strike, what it's gonna cause, and how it's impacting the world. So right after the break.
Every time I eat stuffed crust from Pizza Hut, I play this song. But watch what happens when I play it backwards.
Eat original stuffed crust backwards.
What did you say, record?
3 toppings, just $11.99.
Amazing. The original stuffed crust, just $11.99. Only for Pizza Hut. No one out Pizza Hut. No one.
Okay, and we are back, and we are ready to talk about this strike that has impacted Hollywood like never before. Projects where the script or the storyline hadn't been completely written out. All that project work is going to be put on hold. Anything that's already been completely written out, obviously they already have the material. They can work through it and still get through that production that as needed. Movies, probably, again, it's kind of the same thing. If they've been completely scripted out and written, they'll get worked on. And there's going to be some economic impacts caused by this because all these writers aren't working. The late night shows are shutting down. That was in the news that Jimmy Fallon and some of the other guys are actually going to be paying the salaries of the writers for maybe a month or so, if even that long, I don't know. But this is expected to last about 100 days or longer.
What I don't understand, but what I don't understand about it, and I'm all for people having the best working environment that they need. I don't understand, because I read a quote about this, and they were saying they want to work under fair working conditions, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
So why was it fair a month ago, but it's not fair now?
So
What-
you got to think about it from a dollars and cents standpoint, and in addition to that, their contracts, these are union contracts that are built into like blocks. How often do we see MLB strike or the NFL strike? It rarely happens, for two reasons. One, there's a lot of money at stake for the owners and the players. But two, and maybe more importantly, these contracts last multiple years. So
Right.
it's not every year where they have an opportunity to strike. But so basically what happened, the last time that the writers went on strike was in 2007. Yeah, so we're talking it's been a bit, right? And
15, 18 years.
same as last time, with any strike, it has to do with money. Okay. So this is what we're looking at. In 2007, the last time the writers went on strike, streaming wasn't a thing. It was in its infancy. And what you may have experienced and not really fully noticed, just because we get kind of, it becomes ingrained in how we see things, is that television shows prior to streaming, a typical season ran 22, 23, 24, 25 or so, maybe 30 episodes in a season. Okay. And what's happening with streaming is that because shows are no longer stuck to the network molds of live TV, where they have to be like a 20-minute sitcom or a 46 minutes 1 hour show, right? So these episodes now are able to go, if they want to do 30 minutes, 31 minutes, they don't have to worry about it.
Right.
An hour, a 45-minute show back in 2007 episode might now run an hour and 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. So because of that, writers are paid based on how many episodes are written, not based on the minutes that they cover. So that's one thing that's impacting their pay. Less episodes are being created.
Okay.
Additionally to that, streaming, it was another revenue stream that was not getting tapped into by the writers. So they're missing out on this, the
they're
money
missing out
from
on-
residuals.
Yeah, the residuals. Okay. That makes
So
sense.
there's a lot of money that they're missing out on. So the studios make billions. The writers, if you're a super successful writer, you might make, a few $1,000,000 a year, whatever it may be. But there's lots of writers that are like lower level. I love doing
Right.
air quotes. Lower level that just make a living wage, right? Like you and me or whoever might be out there that, has a paycheck to paycheck type of thing. They're the ones that are really being impacted by this. And what you typically see and what's happening this time is the actors, and just like you saw Jimmy Fallon, some of the late night guys, they support the writers.
Right. Yeah.
Because without the writers, there is no content. The actors have nothing to do.
So speaking of content, I looked up a lot of the shows that are going to be impacted by this. And, we roll our eyes, oh, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Well, hearkening back to last week, Stranger Things season 5 is on hold.
Mm-hmm.
The freaking last season of Cobra Kai is on hold, which sucks. Favorite show. SNL is on hold, which doesn't really matter because no one cares anyway anymore.
SNL's gone downhill.
Right. You mentioned all the late night shows. One thing I found is one of the reasons that they're really supporting the writers is because a lot of these guys used to be writers on other shows, so they're
Yep.
not going to turn their backs on these guys. Billions on Showtime on hold. Abbott Elementary, whatever. Severance on Apple is on hold. Yellow Jackets on Showtime on hold. What's interesting, not that this matters to me at all, but the stay-at-home moms watch their soap operas all day long. Think about that.
Yeah, they're gonna be crushed.
They're
What are
gonna,
they gonna do?
they're gonna be left on a cliffhanger for however long, waiting to see if Billy Bob's gonna marry Jimmy Jane or whatever. I don't know.
So I got two things for that, just to jump in real quick. In 2007, when the last strike happened, the biggest show on TV, and I didn't watch it first pass. I watched it streaming. I watched the reruns on streaming. Was Heroes. It was huge. Did you watch that?
I didn't, but I knew it was big. Yeah.
Okay, it was huge. It was huge.
Right.
There was a tagline, "Save the cheerleader, save the world." There was all
Right.
this mystery, people with superpowers. It was an amazing show.
Right.
The strike happened in 2007, and the show never fully recovered.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Just kind of bombed.
that is, I think, the fear for me, that a lot of these shows that we watch are going to have a hard time getting back to status quo once the strike is like over, because they're estimating September for a resolution for this.
That long.
Yes, it's going to be a long
Yeah.
one, but it kind of makes me feel like when COVID hit, for me, it was almost life changing, because it kind of led me down the path of pursuing comedy and getting
Right.
into the acting that I've been able to do.
Right. The thing is, they can film during the strike. They just can't write content for it. So if certain scenes or whatever are done, then they can go ahead and do that. So, depending on how long it takes, they may kind of refer to some back footage or something on some shows. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I'm not sure what the workaround is exactly. And I know quite often on set there's rewrites that happen. I don't know how that would impact a TV show or a movie without having the actual writer. I saw a big long thing about Die Hard. They all had only written like 75% of the movie when they started actually
Right.
filming the movie.
Right.
So stuff like that or rewrites are definitely going to cause a huge headache for a lot of people in this industry. Personally, I don't think it's going to impact me much, because the people who write shows and movies, they typically aren't writing commercials. So
Right.
for the commercial segments of actors will probably still be okay, except what might be scary is that some of these bigger actors might be like, well, I'm going to take the job that Dan was going to take because I need to make
Right.
some money too. So
Right.
that might happen. But
What
we'll
I
see.
what I found interesting too is this is a U.S. writers thing. So if something is filmed in Canada or the UK or something like that, that doesn't really impact. They can continue to go. I know there was, I think it was Canada that I saw that they're kind of operating in solidarity. They're not, they're not necessarily striking, but there's not going to be a lot of filming in some of these places, just out of solidarity for the writers. But if a show is, handled overseas, it's not really going to impact it. And Netflix said that they know this is going to impact some of their content, that they intend to fill some of those gaps with international shows, which is interesting, because nothing is more frustrating than hopping on Netflix and seeing something that looks interesting only to realize you got to read subtitles.
We'll have to wait and see what happens. For me, I support the writers. There's a lot of people who are underpaid, overworked in every industry, but these people deserve what they're asking for, I think,
Sure.
because they entertain the world, right? Or
Well,
at least this country.
they signed a deal in one climate, and now that climate has changed. That deal
Yep.
has expired, so it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah,
It
it's
makes
all fair. It's all fair. And the studios make billions, so they have
Right.
money.
They
They
got
have
money.
money to spare. So
Right.
yeah, definitely not my favorite thing by any means. But when we come back from the break, we are going to talk about some of our favorite things, stuff.
When you get a restyled Honda CRV, you get more. You get a set of wheels that helps you go farther with less, a better view of your surroundings, and you're getting Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year. So visit your local Honda dealer today.
So, what do you think?
We're prepared to offer cash.
When you get great deals at Denny's,
$5.99.
you'll start to expect great deals everywhere. New all-day diner deals starting at $5.99. 10 delicious meals, only at Denny's.
I saw you got a nice fresh cut there, man. Looking
Good, yeah.
clean.
Yeah,
You
I'm
got a
trying to
date
look
with
for-
the missus tonight?
No. I got it for fans, for our 15 subscribers, and we're back. So we all have favorites. Everybody loves lists. I'm a list guy through and through. If I see a list when I'm on Facebook or reading a paper or reading an article or whatever, I am a sucker for lists. You can say what your top 10 favorite anythings, and I'm just going to spend more time than necessary looking at that. So I thought it'd be kind of fun. Not that we're going to do top 10s or anything like that, but we're just going to go through, favorite scary movie. What's your favorite scary movie, Dan?
My favorite scary movie has to be a movie called Boy or The Boy.
The Boy.
The
Yeah,
Boy.
yeah. Spoiler alert, where he hides in the walls.
Yes, he hides in walls. I don't get scared in movies very often. This one scared the shit out of me. There's a
Really?
scene, spoiler alert, where he comes through the wall and he attacks the girl. I got goosebumps on top of goosebumps on top, and I almost
That's
it was,
funny.
it got me good.
Mine is, have you seen The Descent?
With a group of girls that go down the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
So these women, this lady loses her husband at the start of the movie, and then kind of as a get together a year later, they go and just kind of to support her. They go cave diving, and it goes awfully wrong. And it's not that it's the scariest thing in the world, although the first time you watch it, it really, it'll kind of give you the heebie-jeebies. But you're in a cave, and it's the only movie I've ever watched where I actually felt claustrophobic with the way they filmed it. And I've seen some, how they made the movie and everything, and they reuse a lot of assets. It's a very low budget film, but it was just absolutely fantastic. But I was one of the most immersive movies I've ever watched.
Yeah, so something else that you're gonna need therapy for sure. Right?
Probably. Now, my favorite horror franchise is Scream. I can't get enough. I love that. I love ghosts.
Yes, I'll give you Scream too. I've seen every single one of the movies that came out in the Scream series, with the exception of the most recent one. I haven't seen that yet, but I found out last night that I do have Paramount, so I might be watching it this weekend.
It's good. Yeah. You definitely do it. So, what was your favorite job as a teenager?
Favorite job as a teenager? Wow, I would have to say as a teenager. So nobody wanted to hire me when I was 15, 16, 17. I don't know why. We maybe I was too brown at the time. I think my skin's got a little bit lighter since then, but the only company that hired me was my first job, obviously, was Disney. I worked at Disney when I was I think starting in 10th grade. So 10, 11, 12, and a year and a half or so after I graduated. But when I was a little kid, I absolutely loved Disney. And we used to live in Boston. My parents had a vacation for us like year 5 of Disney when it was basically brand new. Tickets were like $8 or something ridiculous. No parking fee. And my mom was just telling me, she was like, you were so pissed you had to wait in line for 30 minutes for Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever it was. And as soon as the ride was over, you want to get right back on. So when I started working at Disney, sometimes before, almost always after my shift, I'd go on a ride or two. So cool. That was my favorite job.
That's cool. Did you get to skip lines, or did you have to wait in lines?
You have to wait in line.
Do you? You didn't have friends who could bump you up?
No, because the park is so big, and I only worked in a little section. I worked in outdoor food, so I didn't know anybody that was running the rides. Right. Otherwise, I probably would have done it.
Cool. So,
what about you?
My favorite job as a teen, I worked at a place called Beltline Station, and it was putt, go-kart, batting cage, arcade, all that stuff.
And you got fired from there too, so you really loved it.
That's my favorite job was the one that I got fired from. Yeah. No, so my I think it was my sophomore junior year, I don't remember. They started building the go-kart track, and that's when I got a job there. So I helped build the go-kart track there. And then it was where all the cool kids worked, and so I felt kind of cool even though I wasn't. And it was legit the hangout place. And ultimately we ended up having to have a cop out front just to make sure that everything stayed safe. I mean, there could be close to 1,000 people there, if not more, a night, and loved working that place. And I worked parties. I got sexually harassed more times than I can count.
That's a win.
Yeah, those are stories for another time. But it was a fun job, and I missed it after I got fired. I mean, I quit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
get all teary-eyed. Want to go back to be a teenager again, Sammy.
Yeah, right. I know. I wish. What's your favorite car?
Favorite car. My favorite car of all time. Obviously, I owned it. 1996 Acura Integra. I bought it with low mileage, and I think I was 18 maybe at the time. I slowly started pimping it out, essentially. At the time, there was a show on MTV, back when they used to play music, called Pimp My Ride. Did you see it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool show. A little bit outside of my means, for sure. It'd be like trying to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's never gonna happen. But I did save up enough money to buy some sweet 18-inch wheels with super low profile tires. So I'll post a picture of it so everybody can see it. It was super sweet ride. And I love it. It was a 5-speed. So I was just driving up and down. Funny thing about it, I worked at Papa John's, and I was a delivery driver. So I was the only delivery driver in my city driving a almost brand new. It was like a year or two old Acura Integra with 18-inch rims with purple neon lights underneath, going up and down the streets delivering pizzas. It was awesome.
Dude, that is awesome. I can say, your pizza's here.
Yeah.
So my favorite car. Anybody who knows me is going to know this, and I miss it with all my heart.
I know it. I know it.
My 2012 Bumblebee Camaro.
Yep.
And I could talk all night.
Now you're gonna cry.
Yeah, I probably will. We have 5 minutes left, so I figure we'd better move on. But my Bumblebee Camaro.
I sat in it once when I visited for work, and we went to a Rangers game.
Yep. Yeah.
It was weirdly set up for me because the windshield was like higher than the seats. So, or maybe I'm just too short. It was hard to see out.
Yeah, everybody says that. Everybody said that. I never really felt it, but
I'm
looking at it in a different way than y'all are. So I'm looking at the road more. So what was your favorite vacation?
We took a Disney cruise. We've taken several Disney cruises over the years. This one had a stop in Jamaica. In the stop in Jamaica, my wife and my daughter went on a separate excursion to a dolphin pool. My son and I went on a mini submarine excursion, and we went about 150, 200 feet underwater, and had an awesome time on that little trip. What made it memorable was before we got on the submarine, my son and I, we were thirsty. We both had a 12-ounce like Lipton can of Lipton iced tea. About 10 minutes or so before we were about to start coming up, he's like, Dad, I have to pee. I'm like, dude, hold on. We're about to come up. Don't worry about it. So he managed to hold it. We get, because of the submarine, we had to take a little boat to go from like the submarine to the dock.
Right.
On that boat is probably a 15-minute ride. He's like, Dad, I have to pee. I'm like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We're sitting on the seat. He gets up. He walks to the back of the ship. I'm like, what is he doing? So I walk back there. He's peeing on the ship.
On the
he just
ship.
couldn't hold it anymore.
Oh, dude.
So yeah, so that was a fun trip.
That's cool.
He's gonna kill me for sharing that story.
Right. My favorite vacation is typically my last one, just whichever one was my last. But man, we've had some really special experiences. I'll just pick my last, just to not hurt anybody's feelings. We had a 10-day Universal / Disney World jaunt, and it was way too expensive. And I got to eat dinner with you and your fine family. Thanks for paying. That was awesome.
Yeah, no worries.
And it was a great time. My feet were killing me by the end of the first day, and I was really scared because I had 9 days left. But we'll just go with that one. I could talk for 3 hours about our vacations. They've been fun.
I hear you, man. Disney trips are fun. I don't
Yes.
get to take a vacation to Disney because I live here, but I am going on vacation next week, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about that in our rapid fire right after this last break.
Cool.
Cry babies! Happy flowers! Look, it's Mila! They smell like flowers! And lots of accessories! Twist and reveal! The magic tears reveal happy faces! Cry babies! Each sold separately!
All right, and we are back. And as I mentioned before the break, I'm going to be on vacation for family reason. We're having my daughter's quinceanera in Colombia, and it's gonna be an interesting trip. I probably spent way too much on this party, more than I wanted to, but it's worth it because it's my only daughter and it's her
Your
only
daughter's worth
quinceanera.
it. She's worth it.
Yes, absolutely.
That's gonna be a cool memory, dude. That's gonna be an absolute life. That's a core memory to do
Yeah,
that stuff.
I'll
Colombia.
have some pictures for sure. I'll bring back memories that I'll share here. I won't bring back any contraband or white powdery stuff. That thing's kind of has passed Colombia. Unless you still spell Colombia for you, then maybe it'll stick with you. But that's what we're doing. So we'll be back June 1st.
June 1st.
Between now and then, anybody who sees this, remember,
Hold the
like
man.
this, comments, subscribe, and remember to hold the damn mayo, baby.
Hold the mail. Like, subscribe, obey.
See ya.
Bye.
I had some notes. Hang on. Let me start over. Damn it.
Ooh, look at that.
Ooh. Are you in the bathroom today?
Yeah. Hemorrhoids the size of softballs. Yeah, I'm in the opposite.
Oh, your wife kicked you out, huh?